Poor Wii U. After only being used for Wii and Virtual Console games, the first game of its own I do is Funky Barn. I bought this sealed for like a 5 or 6 years ago. Now don't let anyone tell you there were no sacrifices in the making of this show. I had to downgrade my Funky Barn from sealed to very good condition. From the start I have 3 difficulties of farm and 3 challenge farms, only easy is available for both. So I start an easy farm and get a slideshow showing some old guy, Professor Hatsworth, and some younger guy building up their farm. The old man is an inventor and has created various machines to automate the farm work, but one day he stayed out in the snow, got pneumonia and died. Didn't even put his name on the grave, and that's where I come in. For whatever reason I got the farm in his will, but Rufus is here to help me out. But first he wants my name. Oh, I hate coming up with names in games, I don't like using my own name. So I'm Farmer Dickhead, and now I've got to name the farm. That's worse. Fuck it, it's called Dickheads. So now for the tutorial. As with any good farm, I begin with the stork dropping off a chicken for me. Now I've got to name that. Luckily the animals start with a randomised name, so I don't bother changing it. Now I've got to give her affection and shelter and all that crap. First is petting by rubbing the stylus against it, on the gamepad, that I can't record or display on the TV in this game. Sorry if you feel you're missing out. Just rub them until a happiness bar fills. I play as this floating ant that I used to pick up and drop things. After leaving me to admire this fucking wasteland I've had thrusted upon me, Rufus tells me to get buying a trough. So I open the shop menu and buy a water trough for 125 coins. I start with 1900. It gets airdropped in and I can only set it up on grass. Now the chicken can drink. One drink and she's fully grown. She also laid an egg. I carry eggs to the selling bay and drop it in the funnel to launch it to a shop for 55 coins. Rufus tells me that chicken eggs are more common in spring and winter. Now the demanding chickie wants some plants, so I buy an oak tree from the shop for 70 coins. Everything I buy for the farm adds farm quality. When the farm quality bar fills up, I gain a level and access to more things to buy, with the highest level being 7. There are other requirements as well to reach the next level. To reach level 2 I need 3 animals and 1 shelter building on my farm. Now I'm mostly left to work things out for myself. Then 2 seconds later he tells me that an animal is unhappy about something and if you don't act quick enough they'll just fuck off of the farm. In this case she wants me to refill the trough. Every refill costs money but not that much. The stork also came by and dropped off a free chicken. Rather than just spend the money to refill the trough, I spent 275 coins upgrading it to be bigger. Every upgradable object can be upgraded twice. I then spent 395 coins on a chicken coop. Now Miss is whining for food, so I spend 140 on a food trough. The stork drops by again and leaves me another chicken. I've now filled the requirements for reaching level 2, I just need the farm quality now. One of them starts crying for more plants, so I add a 50 coin lily. But that's not enough, so I also add a 180 coin birch tree and spend 280 coins upgrading the food trough. A mushroom grows on the farm. Each colour of mushroom has a different effect on the animal that eats it. Some can help, others not. The stork comes by again and drops off another chicken. This gave me the farm quality I need to complete level 1. I can now hold more animals, buy sheep and other items from the shop. To reach level 3 I need 1 collector gadget, 3 trees and 1 decoration. First thing I buy is a 500 coin apple tree. Fruit grown on trees can be sold, so eventually it'll pay for itself. I then spend 690 coins on a mobile egg collector. These will automatically pick up eggs for me and deposit them in the selling bay. Thing is, it needs roads to walk along and I have no money after buying it. I can afford 4 tiles of road, which I foolishly build nowhere near the chickens. It then transitions to summer. I stick the egg collector on the road anyway since it's scaring the chickens. I'm running low on money so I get to petting the chickens. Filling out an adult chicken's happiness bar has them automatically lay an egg. I get petting them all to speed things up a bit. It's time for the stork's visit again, but now I can choose what I want so I get a sheep. The chickens don't like it, and it's time to build some fences. I fence all the chickens in and give the lamb free reign over everything else. When I had the money I spent 445 coins on a shear-o-matic for when the sheep is fully grown. But then I stick the lamb in it anyway and it breaks. Oops. Can't afford to repair it yet, so after another lamb gets dropped off I get petting for eggs until I can repair it. Just in time for my first sheep to be fully grown. One lot of wool gets me 110 coins. It moves on to autumn and I keep building up money until I can buy a sheep barn. Since the chickens were whining about it, I spend the next 600 coins I get on upgrading their coop to have more space. I then get another sheep from the stork. I then get the free level 1 trophy from the shop to count as my 1 decoration. Now all I need is farm quality. I get an offer from a Chester Claypool. He wants 12 eggs and 3 apples from me in about 11 minutes for 1,250 coins. Thing is, I won't be getting money from the next 12 eggs I deposit, so I have to rely on my 2 adult sheep for money. I gave him all the eggs he wants, but now I just have to wait for the apples to drop. At least my eggs are making me money again. I then buy a couple plants to keep my sheep happy. I was too late though, and both my adult sheep abandoned the farm. The apples finally dropped though, so I can get my reward from Chester. I also get a bonus for the amount of remaining time. I use that money to fully upgrade both of the chickens' troughs. My remaining sheep grew, so now I can get wool again. As it turns to winter I buy another apple tree to keep him happy. Then the stork comes by again, so I get another sheep. As I buy another oak tree for the sheep, one of the chickens ate a blue mushroom and laid loads of eggs. I finally start buying troughs for the sheep and upgrade the sheep barn, then their troughs. I then upgrade the shear-o-matic to have a claw that grabs nearby sheep to shear them, saving me a little time. Back in spring, a chicken starts freaking out after having a yellow mushroom, just picking up a tripping animal cures them. I then buy a wagon wheel just for the farm quality. I fully upgrade the sheep's food trough just in time for a job from Peggy Jane. She just wants 4 eggs. Easy. I then fully upgrade the sheep's water trough just as a stork brings me another. This gets me to level 3. The new animal I get this time is cows. For the next level I need 1 extractor and fruit tree, which I already have, and 3 flowers, of which I have 2. I can also buy crops now, but they're really expensive. I instead buy myself a lupin to finish that last requirement for level 4. Of course I still need to raise the farm quality a lot though. One of the sheep is whining for more plant life, so I stick another oak tree nearby. I then place the level 2 trophy. I go to build some more road, but a thunderstorm passes by. Lucky for me, it misses the farm entirely. As it returns to summer, I still can't get that road built because of whining animals wanting shit. I plant an orange tree and the stork drops me off my first cow. I have no space for the cow, so I buy a water tower to expand the usable land and dump the cow north for the chickens. I then fence it in. The sheep still have free rein though. I follow it up with the troughs and upgrade the water one. Almost all my money then goes to a barn for the cow, just in time for another cow delivery from the stork. In autumn I have Peggy Jane asking me for 2 apples in 3 minutes 45 seconds. A little later I finally have the money to buy a milk-o-matic so I can finally milk these cows. Milk gets me the most money from these 3 animals at 125. A chunk of it has to go to a tree to placate my cow's whining. I did notice I placed my milker like a right stupid bastard, so the cow keeps getting stuck in this little corner between the water and fence. Stork shows up again, so I get another cow. I end up cancelling that simple apple request with 20 seconds left because my apples just refuse to ripen. Then the cheeky bastards decide to ripen right after. I expand my usable land a little more with another water tower. We get into winter and a fox shows up. Foxes will target a specific animal to steal, giving you a few seconds to pick up that animal to stop it. I just managed to save one of my chickens. I also now have the money to upgrade the milk-o-matic to sucking cows for milking on its own. I follow this up with upgrading their food trough, and then get myself a 4th cow. I finally go and spend 1100 on some crops, one patch that I dump next to the cows and ignore for a while. After one of my cows nearly drowns from the milker launching it into a pond, I finally pay the 125 to get it shifted. Another thunderstorm shows up and blows up a water tower, the top fence of my chicken area and the bottom fence of my cow area. This puts my farm into chaos with chickens and cows all over the place. I have to build new fences and drag the fuckers back to where they belong. The stork also shows up during this and I get another sheep. In spring I get asked by Bodine Tucker for 8 eggs and 2 oranges in just over 7.5 minutes. I then buy a second patch of crops and another water tower. That gets me up to level 4, adding more shop items and letting me add pigs to my farm. I have at least 7 animals already for level 5, but I still need a harvester and 2 crop squares. My second one hasn't finished growing yet. I get my level 3 trophy for the point and a pig from the stork. Pigs dig up truffles, and I just leave this one to its own devices, letting it steal the sheep's food. I also finish the request from Tucker and get my payment. I use it to upgrade the cow barn. The pig is on the verge of leaving due to not having shelter, so I pick it up and drag it around to keep it from leaving. Pig pens cost 2700 but I have only 729. I can't make the money in time and the pig fucks off. Back to summer and a tornado shows up but doesn't go anywhere near my farm. I get another pig from the stork despite still not having a pen for it. I managed to get the money for one together just a bit later. I don't have the space available for it though, so I have to leave it boxed for a bit until I can just scrape together the money for a water tower to make the space and build it up before this pig abandons me too. A little later I build up the money for a harvester, fulfilling all level 5 requirements aside from quality points. It's autumn again and I get myself another pig. Crops are worth 180. It's been over an hour and I'm finally getting that egg collector to work. I build the road so it actually gets in range of the eggs and the selling bay. I did build the road inside their space though, so it scares the shit out of them half the time, but now I don't have to spend time keeping an eye on eggs, the collector will deal with those for me. Tucker is back asking for 6 eggs and 4 apples in 11 minutes and I just saved another chicken from a fox. I upgrade the egg collector so it can suck in eggs from a large distance. Not long later I fulfilled Tucker's request and got a nice payout, right after I'm adding another pig to the farm. With all this extra money I buy a weather controller for 3500 to protect my farm from bad weather. Just as it moves into winter, I upgrade a water tower to expand my available land some more. I follow it up with another water tower to expand my farm west and upgrade it. I also expand the road to surround most of my chicken section. I then upgrade the egg collector once more so it can collect multiple eggs at once and get another chicken. I add a pear tree because that sheep is still whining for more plants. I put another water tower next to my weather controller. This farm is a disgraceful mess. Spring again and I spend $14.50 on a wool finder. The road I already have has it just in range of the shear-o-matic. Peggy is back and asking for 4 eggs and 2 truffles. Despite all the pigs I haven't been paying attention to them and thus haven't sold a single truffle. A fox appears as I'm getting another pig and steals one of my sheep. I get petting the pigs for an automatic truffle and finish off Peggy's request. I really need to increase my quality, so I buy a sheep column and upgrade my cow barn. Another thunderstorm comes in, and since my weather control is on the complete opposite side of the map, it wipes out nearly my entire cow area along with 2 towers and a harvester. The repairs take out over half of my money. I do take the chance to increase the cow area size though, just as it gets to summer. I then get another sheep. I buy myself another water tower to keep expanding west. Then another tornado shows up, but it's right next to my weather controller, so it gets removed right away. I then upgrade my wool collector to make it faster with more range. I add another cow before autumn starts, and Tucker shows up again asking for 10 eggs and 3 apples. I buy a second weather controller for the other corner of the map. I buy a third crop square just in time for a fox to steal a chicken. A few seconds later I've reached level 5 and can now buy geese. I need 3 exotic animals to have all the requirements for level 6. I get my level 4 trophy and finally buy the pigs their own trough so they don't have to share with the sheep. I get a goose from my next stock delivery. These count as exotic animals with their eggs being worth more than chicken eggs, but they're also pickier and easier to have leave than chickens. I just let it roam for now while I finish off Tucker's request. Geese can live in chicken coops, so I just drop the geese in with them. I also pay for upgrades on both the chicken coop and the Shiromatic before it moves on to winter again. A few minutes later I built up the 4500 for a truffle copter. The pigs always keep slipping my mind, so having something that deals with them for me is much needed help. I then get myself another goose and fully upgrade both of the cows' troughs and then a water tower. In spring I upgrade the pig's food trough. I also put a kennel near my chickens. If a fox goes anywhere near them, a dog from the kennel will stop it. I've added my third goose to the farm, fulfilling all non-point requirements for level 6. Then Peggy starts asking for 4 truffles and 3 milk. I fully upgrade the pig's water trough and get to work petting them for those truffles. It doesn't take long and I get a huge bonus for still having over 40 minutes left on the timer. I use it to buy a milk collector and build a road next to the cows. Another 2450 goes towards the Milkomatic's final upgrade. Summer again and I buy another water tower. The entire southwest corner of the map has been worthless this whole time, so I best get working on it. I also upgrade it. The chicken area has got a little cramped, so I get some more fence to expand it. I then add a 4th crop square and get another chickie from the stalk before fully upgrading the pig's food trough. I then put a goose statue near the geese for some points. I get a request from Chester. He wants 15 eggs and 5 wool. In autumn I buy a small pond both for the points and to keep the geese happy. One of my chickens ate a yellow mushroom and blew up my fence. I then get myself another sheep. By the time I finish Chester's request, the money I built up before combined with my bonus has me the most money I've had so far. So I buy a defense hanger to get the points to reach level 6, making alpaca available. The only requirements left to reach level 7, aside from points, are 3 more flowers planted. So I just buy a lily, a lupin and a rose. Now I just need those points. I stick down another water tower and upgrade it, followed by a fruit harvester that I also upgrade. These will box up multiple fruit to make them worth more than they were individually. I also put up the road so I can get to my other fruit trees. Level 5 trophies added in time for a lot of fudge to corrupt from compressing, so please bear with me for a bit. In winter I buy a box and bale collector. For my next animal delivery I get an alpaca. Their wool is worth more than the sheep wool, but like the geese they count as exotic and are easier to drive away. I upgrade the kennel, buy a 2x2 crop square and get another alpaca. Tucker then turns up asking for 6 goose eggs and 4 milk. I fulfill that request a quarter of the way into the next spring. I use the money to upgrade the fruit harvester and the crop harvester before buying a second and then an orchid. My animal for that season is another cow and then I upgrade the box and bale collector. I get another set of troughs for the geese and upgrade them once each. In summer I fully upgrade the new troughs. Chester returns asking for 12 eggs and 6 wool. While my machines do their work, I'm planting an orchid tree before getting myself another chicken. I rebuild a fence I removed to give the geese and chickens their own separate space. Another water tower even though it's not really needed at this point, and then a second chicken coop for the whining goose that wants a new house now I fenced him off from his old one. And he takes off while I'm trying to fix the fence to fit in, impatient prick. And then a tornado at the beginning of autumn. My weather control manages to stop it just before it can destroy anything. I get another goose just as I give Chester everything he wants. During all this I've made 10 grand, so I get buying stuff to points. A gnome, a second fruit harvester, upgrade some water towers, upgrade the truffle copter and an apple tree. Then a UFO shows up and tries to steal one of my cows, but the defense hanger deals with that. I buy a second egg collector and give it a couple upgrades and then upgrade the milk collector. I get another alpaca before winter begins. The alpaca just gave me enough points for level 6, where buffalo are now available. To fully complete this farm I need to add 1 more exotic animal and 1 more defense building. I first get my level 6 trophy and plant a tree for the complaining geese. It's not enough for the greedy arseholes and 2 of them leave, making me need 3 more exotic animals now. I get another defense hanger to finish that building requirement. Tucker returns asking for 10 wool and 5 milk. I get another goose from the stalk to stop the remaining one getting lonely and running off too. I buy another pig pen for the other side of the map because loads of them have migrated to that side and can't get back because they're scared of the sheep. I put some troughs there too and give them an upgrade each. In spring I plant another birch tree because there still isn't enough plant life for the geese. Soon after I complete Tucker's request and buy another kennel to protect the sheep and give it an upgrade. Then I buy a jacaranda for the points and fully upgrade those new troughs. Cherry blossoms give a huge point bonus to their 150 price tag. I also get another jacaranda right after, and then 2 more as soon as I get the money. I get a buffalo from the stock next. These are the exotic equivalents of the cows, just need one more exotic animal. I buy a water fountain for more points and another jacaranda. Summer arrives once again and I buy another jacaranda. I save up for a scarecrow because they're also worth a lot of points. A fox tries to steal a pig but I stop it. Next I buy another kennel for a huge quality increase. The stork comes by and drops off the last required exotic animal, another buffalo. Then one last jacaranda completes the farm and unlocks the intermediate farm. I think it's safe to say that I ran this farm terribly, what with only 2 kinds of animal fenced up and the sheep and pigs being let free to roam around. It's clear I didn't quite live up to Professor Hatsworth's dream of building a fully automated farm. Now these next 2 farms I'm going to skim over because there's nothing new that can be said about the game. First I learn I also have to name the next farm. Can't use the same name, so this time I go with Prickheads. Not enough characters to fit the A in. Now let's jump a couple hours and levels in to see how much better I'm running it. All animals fenced in so I can keep an eye on them. Machines mostly keeping away from the animals. Multiple upgraded collectors so I'm constantly making money. This is what I should have been going for in the beginner farm. The higher difficulty comes from having less room to build. My map is the same size, but there are now more hills, rocks and ponds littering the map, taking up space. But of course when it comes to that last level I start cluttering the place with decorations for those points. And it ends up being a jacaranda again that gets me the last few points to complete this farm and unlock the expert farm. Wow, you're some kind of farmer, dickhead. Expert farm, named Penis Heads, no room for the A again, goes basically the same as the last one. Or maybe it's pronounced Penny Sheds. At this point, I know what to do to get good results. This one adds even more shit in the way to make building harder. Don't mistake me skimming over all this to mean I'm bored. When I knew what I was doing, there was certainly a good deal of satisfaction from getting things set up so that I'm constantly getting money. This time the final thing that completed the farm was a simple wagon wheel. Completing all 3 farms allows me to place an ultimate farmer trophy in them. Not done yet though, they're still the challenge farms. Challenge farm 1 puts me in a farm ravaged by bad weather and 20 minutes to turn its fortunes around by repairing the machinery and putting the animals back in their proper place, safe and fed, so I can make more money to make more repairs to make things more efficient. It's pretty simple and takes me less than 7 minutes to get it done. Challenge farm 2 puts me in a farm ravaged by bad weather and 20 minutes to turn its fortunes around by repairing the machinery and putting the animals back in their proper place, safe and fed, so I can make more money to make more repairs to make things more efficient. It's pretty simple and takes me less than 5 minutes to get done. Challenge farm 3 puts me in a farm ravaged by bad weather and 20 minutes to turn its fortunes around by repairing the machinery and putting the animals back in their proper place, safe and fed, so I can make more money to make more repairs to make things more efficient. It's pretty simple and takes me less than 8 minutes to get it done. And that's Funky Barn fully completed. To be honest, this was better than I was expecting. You look at the box and think, unplayable shovelware. But it works well, and while it isn't an amazing experience, the gameplay loop of getting more stuff for your farm to get more money to get more stuff was satisfying enough for me to say that this game is decent. I don't see myself ever playing this again, but it was an enjoyable time while it lasted.